A little bit slow into canter. You could see they had a moment of trot. I'd like to see a longer moment of suspension in the canter, but a good uphill tendency. Good balance into the counter-canter. Just feel there in the counter-canter, he's just leaning on the bit a little bit. Good clean transition down into walk for the simple change and back up again. Crisp transitions. Quite a modest medium canter. I feel like she could have gone for that a little bit more. Again, nice balance in the counter-canter. Just did a flying change there, I think. Oh, I see. Yeah, no, that was a mistake. That's a real shame. Again, he's just leaning on the shoulder a little bit, leaning in the hand into those transitions. And again there in the stretchy trot, the same as the walk, I'd just like to see him open the frame a little bit more in the stretch. But really good regularity in the rhythm. And coming into their final halt, the first rider in the 5-year-old finals, René van Uldert van Villers on Just Wimphoff.
That was it for Just Wimphoff, the 5-year-old stallion.
He's a 5-year-old stallion by Dinero out of a Riccione mare. Let's hear from the judge at sea with her remarks.
The first competitor in this Longines final for 5-year-old horses. Mevrouw Schwennissen.
A very appealing young horse in front of us for the first of the 5-year-olds. A really attractive, well put together horse. Moves very straight over the with his legs, and lots and lots to like about him. In the trot today, we thought, in the beginning, really elastic, really expressive, balanced, and a very soft-footed trot for a big horse with such a big movement. He's just lovely for that. We thought the contact was a bit strong in the beginning and actually improved and became lighter in the medium trot steps. The second medium, he hurried just a wee bit, but it was all very correct, and we like the trot a lot. So we've given him today a 9.0 for the trot. In the walk, he started a bit behind the vertical. We'd like to see him walk a bit more forward into the contact and more fluently. And today we've given him an 8.3. For the canter, we'd like more ground cover and a little bit more uphill tendency. It's a very correct canter, and he's elastic really in his own self. He can walk through the body, he can canter, he can trot. He's quite an elastic and easy-going horse. It's very, very nice to judge. Today, though, we thought the contact was probably the weakest area, and in particular when he's going to the right, he seems to be become a bit stronger in the contact as well. And of course, he changed when he was in the canter, which is another thing for the submission. For the canter today, we've given an 8.5. For the submission, we gave a 7.8, and the overall perspective, we've given an 8.7. Thank you very much.
Some really lovely comments there for this wonderful stallion.
Well, let's repeat the points for Just Wimpoff.
So the points are 9 for the trot, 8.3 for the walk, 8.5 for the canter, 7.8 for the submission, and 8.7 for the perspective, 8.46, and naturally into the lead being the first competitor,
representing
Renate van der Uldert van Villey on Just Wimpoff. She has another ride later on, so we'll look forward to seeing her back in the arena later. So next into the arena we have Nicole Vigo representing Germany on Quiana. Quiana is a 5-year-old mare by Quarterstern out of a Rubinstein Noir mare.
7.942. Renate van Uitert van Vliet met Just Wimpoff. We welcome Nicole Vigo, Deutschland.
Quarterstern is by Quarterback.
The 5-year-old mare by Quarterstern.
Quarterback proved his brilliance, winning the 3-year-old final at the British Champions, scoring a 10 for his rideability from both test riders, and had his high scores from the trot and the canter. So let's see whether that has been passed down to this lovely mare, Nicole Vigo from Germany, riding Quiana for Germany. The bell has gone as they enter their test here in the Longines 5-year-old final. Just onto the forehand slightly in the first halt. Not entirely square either. Pair came 14th in the qualifier with 8.3. Again, a really super elastic horse here in the trot work, showing good uphill tendency. Lovely straightness across the diagonal, in really good balance. Keeping good activity for the pirouette. A nice size there as well. Good suppleness in the 10-meter circle. Just popped behind the vertical a little bit in the first half, but well corrected by Nicole. Better suppleness, I feel, here on the right rein. Again, good balance across the diagonal for the extension. Nice clear transitions into and out of the medium trot strides, and straight away into a lovely relaxed walk. Really using her whole body through the walk. Nice in the shoulder and covering plenty of ground. And lovely in the neck, really stretching out. That's what that last horse was just lacking slightly. It's lost a little bit of the rhythm towards the end before the canter transition. Straight straight into the medium canter. I'd have liked to have seen that maybe a little more uphill. Slightly lost the balance on the half circle there. Good balance into the counter-canter. Keeping the frame nicely. Not a clean transition into walk, and quite a lot of walk steps there as well. Better transition up into the canter again from the simple change. Maybe taking a little bit more risk in the medium canter. Again, a really nice harmonious picture in this partnership. Just losing a little bit of balance, just tipping onto the shoulder slightly at the end of that counter-canter. And lovely transition back up into canter. Again, just this mare's tendency is to lose the balance and fall slightly onto her nose. Wonderful stretching. Really loose swinging trot. You can really see there from behind how much she's swinging through the back. And coming into her final halt, Nicole Vigo riding her own beautiful mare Quiana, a 5-year-old mare by quarter stern out of a Rubinstein Noir mare. Really, really wonderful test. Lovely balance, lovely swing through the trot. Let's hear what Maria has to say.
En Colibri.
Well, I think we're very privileged and very lucky today. We have another beautiful horse, well trained, and the highlight is the willingness and the partnership, the harmony between these two. All the way through, the horse responded so beautifully to the aid, and she was supported and ridden very well, so we commend you for sure on your ride today. In the trot, we thought it was a really active forward trot, very light-footed, and showed a good freedom of the shoulder. And also, the hind legs showed a good ability to be able to engage through and step under the body. So, well done for the trot. In the medium, we thought just a fraction hurried, but still good over track and well forward. For the trot today, we've given an 8.8. For the walk, straight away she walked perfectly. She was swinging through the body. She was relaxed. She knew exactly where she was going, stayed straight over the track. And she had such a good attitude in the walk that we've given her today a 9.2. For the canter, we thought this was the weaker of the three paces. It was a correct canter, and again, she was always with the rider in the canter no matter what. But we'd like to see the canter in general a little bit more uphill. But even the way it went today, she was still in balance in the canter and still with the rider. So we've given an 8.5. For the submission, we thought that she's an athletic mare. She's very willing to the aid. The only thing really was that she rested in the halt in the beginning. And for that, we've given an 8.5. And we like her overall. We think she has a strong future, a very good dressage mare, a 9.0 for the perspective.
Super scores there for Nicole Vigo, 8.8, and straight into the lead. So trot 8.8, a walk 9.2, canter 8.5, submission 8.5, and perspective 9. 8.8 and into the early lead. Quiana, the beautiful mare, owned by Nicole Vigo and ridden by Nicole Vigo by quarter stern out of a Rubenstein Noir mare.
Dan gaan we naar spectator judging. Well, you get to 8.414, that's close. Thank you.
Next up into the arena, Severo Eduardo Lopez on Springback the Second VH. He is a stallion by Scovens Raphael out of a De Niro 6 mare. He is owned by Helga Strand Dressage. He is a Swedish warm blood, but he is ridden by Severo, who is Spanish, so he is representing Spain today. Severo is a Spanish Olympic rider who memorably rode Lorenzo at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, where they finished 5th individually. He is one of the top riders at Helga Strand Dressage and has won 5 World Championship medals, 4 of which are gold here. So let's see if he can come out on top today with Springback the Second VH. Incredibly impressive young chestnut stallion. Certainly feels the eye. So much expression in that huge trot. Really lovely strides in the medium. Really pushing from behind. Maybe see more consistency in the contact. Just fell onto the shoulder slightly in that walk transition. Lovely activity in the pirouette. Maybe see some more suppleness in those circles. Just there, I'd like to see him bend a little bit more around the rider's inside leg. This horse is so uphill, just losing slightly the regularity there in the trot. He was gearing up for this extended trot across the diagonal. This partnership came 12th with 8.44 in the qualifying round. Nice relaxed walk, really covering the ground and showing a good over track. Just lost a little bit of the rhythm in the medium walk before the canter. Beautifully uphill canter. Definitely a highlight for this horse. Scored a 9 in the qualifiers for his canter. Good balance in the canter, just creeping slightly behind the vertical at times, so could maybe have a little bit more self-carriage. Pretty good transition down and a nice crisp transition back up into canter. Lovely medium canter down the long side, showing great moments of suspension. Balance I don't feel is quite so good in the canter this direction. Good transition back up to canter, nice simple change. I think in that last transition back to trot he was thinking about the simple change again and thinking about walking, so not the most fluent transition. The stretch trot could also be more out in front. You stretch down, but you want to see the same as the extended walk, you want to see them stretch down and out. Coming down the final centre line, Severo Eduardo Lopez riding the wonderful Springbank II VH. That beautiful chestnut stallion, where Scovens Raphael out of a De Niro 6 mare. Representing Spain, this horse is a Swedish warm blood. Let's hear from Maria Schwensen.
The crowd that you enjoyed that performance and looking at this beautiful horse. So did we. We thought he was solid throughout everything. We have very little to complain about today. He is soft, he's flexible, he's a very elegant stallion. In the trot, we thought it was really ground covering and active. The only thing we thought was that when he's on the left rein, he tilts a little bit. We'd like to see him a bit more balanced and supple on the left rein. His medium trots were certainly his highlight. He had perfect reach with the front legs, so much freedom of the shoulder. We thought after the medium trot, be careful that you don't continue pushing him too much. We'd like him to just stay exactly in balance and not too much forward after that. But today we've given the trot a 9.3. For the walk, we thought it was a very correct walk, very clear. He stretched into the contact and quite active. Today for the walk, 8.6. For the canter, we thought that was his best pace. Very uphill canter the whole way through, ground covering, and really beautifully ridden and contained in the counter canter. He showed that he really could sit back and sit on his end and collect in the counter canter, so we were most impressed with that. 9.5. In his submission, we thought he was fluent, particularly in the simple changes. He was very obedient, very straight. The changes were extremely well balanced. The only thing was he lost a bit of balance in the turn on the haunches. But we also thought in the transitions he remained good in the contact. He was very flexible and soft through the neck. So today for the submission we've given him a 9.0 and 9.0. And for the perspective today, because we like the horse so much, a 9.5. Congratulations.
So a total of 9.18 for Eduardo Lopez there, with Springbank second. VH Trot 9.3, Walk 8.6, 9.5 for Canter, Submission 9, and a 9.5 for Perspective.
Representing the Swedish Warmblood Association.
Beautiful test there, and well and truly into the lead.
En dan gaan we nog even naar spectator judging. Did you place them on the number 1? Oh yes, you did. 8.890 points. Spectator judging. Well done. The next horse, das rheinische Pferde Stambuch, Moosbens Roccadera. The mare by Rock Forever and Ricardos and
Jill de Ridder next in with Moosbens Roccadera. A mare by Rock Forever out of a Ricardo's mare. Yesterday the pair were 11th with 8.58. They gained 8.8 for their trot and their walk, 8.3 for the canter, 8.2 for submission, and another 8.8 for perspective. So let's see where that puts them today. Jill de Ridder on Moosbens Roccadera, entering the arena now in the Longines 5-year-old World Championship. Nice forward elastic trot. Just losing a little bit of the suppleness there across the middle. That's better. Much better that time. Just slightly suffering with the balance there to begin with, but she regained it nicely. Lovely uphill tendency this mare has. Good clear transitions into and out of the medium trot. Just lost a little bit of the momentum going into the pirouette, but actually the pirouette remained active. Again, just lost a little bit of balance on the 10-meter circle. Just see her being bent to the outside. Super trot there. Much better here on the right. Oh, just again lost the rhythm there in the trot. Super nice steps in the extended trot. Lovely and straight on the diagonal. Yeah, a deserved pat there for Moosbens Roccadera. And straight into a nice relaxed walk. Taking the contact down in the extended walk. Good steps, a nice clear rhythm, not the biggest overtrack that we've seen so far, but correct. She's walking nicely through her body. And a clear 4-beat rhythm. And beautifully into canter. The walk wasn't affected at all before the transition. Going into canter and then straight away into medium is a really hard transition to ride, because you've just got into the canter and then you're going forward. It's really hard to get that uphill tendency, and that was slightly lost down that long side I feel she went slightly onto the shoulder in the medium. Nice clear rhythm in the canter. Pretty good transition down to walk for the simple change, and again back up again. I feel like we could just have a little bit more engagement in this canter from behind. It just needs to be slightly more uphill like it is in the trot. I think this would improve the moment of suspension as well. Nice balance in the counter-canter. Oh, strike off on the wrong leg there. What a shame. Corrected it well though. Really, really beautifully ridden by Jill de Ridder. Really giving the mare confidence in the arena. Beautiful stretch there in the trot. Really taking the rein nicely forward and out. This horse has a really lovely outlook, and there's great harmony in this partnership. They're just coming into their final halt and salute. Jill de Ridder riding Moose Ben's Rockadera, 5-year-old mare by Rock Forever out of Ricardus Mare.
The mare by Rock Forever, Ricardus.
Let's see what the judge at sea, Maria Schweisen, has said.
A very elegant mare, and throughout quite soft-footed. The rhythm in the trot was a good rhythm. We would like to see in the medium trot that it cover more ground and with a bit more over track, really softer over the back and swinging. For the trot today we've given an 8.3. For the walk we thought it was a very correct walk, relaxed over the back. In general we'd like to see the walk coming from the back end to the front end, right through the body, swinging more through the body, and generating some freedom, more freedom of the shoulder. It's still a very correct walk, and we were quite happy that she was more than comfortable in the walk. It's an 8.0 for the walk. In the canter we thought today it was a little croup high, and we'd like to see the tendency more uphill, lighter over the ground. She tends to push and push upwards sometimes with her hind legs in the canter. So just a bit more uphill tendency and a bit more self-carriage in the canter. Today we've given an 8.0. For the submission mark, we thought the suppleness in the back certainly could be shown a little bit more elastically on the left rein in particular, but it can be connected to her being a little bit tense today with the atmosphere. We thought, and of course she made a mistake in the simple change, which definitely affects the submission mark today. In general, we'd like to see her a bit more through, over the whole back, a bit more elastic and soft and supple through the back. But we did think that you rode very well today, and we congratulate you on your good supporting ride. You rode very nicely, so we're impressed. For the submission mark, we've given a 7.8. For the perspective mark, we've given an 8.2.
So a good score there for Jill de Ridder on Moose Ben's Rockadera.
De punten voor deze combinatie die komen na
A
de
beautiful mare by
volgende
Rock Forever.
deelnemer.
Out of a Ricardo's mare.
Als we eventjes kijken
Really
naar
lovely
spectator
comments from the
judging,
judge.
kijken welke punten u gaf. U gaf een voorlopige derde
Let's
plaats.
take
third
a
place.
look
U
at
gave
that
it in
scoreboard.
Spectator judging 8.252.
8.2 from the spectator judging.
Moosmens Roccadera. And there we welcome the fifth competitor in this Longines final for 5-year-old horses. Espe en Eva Muller für das westfälische Pferdestammbuch. Espe by Escolar, Di Maggio and Floris.
So next into the arena we have the winner of the 4-year-old finals, Eva Muller, riding Espe, who is a Westphalian mare by Escola, out of a Di Maggio mare. Yesterday they were 18th in the qualifier, so they competed in the small final and got through to this 5-year-old final. They scored a 9.1 for the trot, a 6.5 for the walk, so they'll be looking to improve that today. An 8.8 for the canter, a 7.8 for the submission, and an 8.4 for the perspective. So into the arena, Eva Muller on Espe. She was quite inattentive in the halt. She did actually stand still, but lost her concentration. This mare has a really super active hind leg. And huge movement. Super elastic and really swinging through the back in the trot. This horse has a lot of movement through its body and really showed that in the medium trot. It's hard to think she could go for more in the extended. Keeps the activity in the walk, through the walk pirouette. Lovely suppleness on that 10-meter circle. Oh, just lost the hind leg. Coming out of it though, just quarters in slightly on her return to the track. Really nice, even suppleness from left to right. Just got a little bit quick in that extended trot. Let's see about this walk. It got 6.5 yesterday from the judges in the qualifier. It's pretty relaxed. It's covering the ground. It's a little bit hurried actually. It's getting more hurried as she's going along. Taking the contact nicely down. Yeah, walk definitely not this horse's highlight. Again, a big mover in the canter. That moment of suspension is huge. Really covering the ground. Slightly open mouth there in the counter-canter, but good balance in the half circle. Let's see how these simple changes are. Oh. Yeah, not the cleanest that we've seen today. When a horse has got a canter like this, it's so hard for them to take the weight and have that direct transition into the walk. Just losing a little bit of the uphill tendency in that counter-canter. That's better. Again, just trotting into the walk transition, but much better up this time. Good transition to trot and lovely loose trot in the stretch. Really taking that contact down. Coming down their final centre line, Ermelo riding SB. A beautiful test from the Escola daughter, out of a DiMaggio mare. The crowds are out in force to watch Eva's test. Huge appreciation from the crowd. Really, really beautifully ridden. She won the 4-year-olds. Can she do it again? Let's hear from Maria.
Escola DiMaggio and Eva Muller.
Crowds are getting super excited, as is Espe. Let's hear what the judge has to say.
Well, there's no denying she's a very, very expressive, moving mare. Really loves her work by the look of her and always willing to move forward, be elastic, energetic and athletic. A very, very good, willing horse for you to work with. We thought that today in the trot, that in the medium trot perhaps was not her highlight, even though I know it would have looked very expressive. We thought it was a little bit hurried, and with that hurrying she became wide with the hind legs. But we'd like to see her a little bit more relaxed in the neck and a bit more open in the neck in that medium trot, and that certainly should help her step more under with the body in the medium trot. So for the trot today we've given an 8.9. For the walk we thought that she could have more over track and more freedom of the shoulder. She has a very particular walk, the way that she puts her feet on the ground. We can see her even now, the way she does it. I mean, it has a lot to recommend, and certainly it's very clear, and she's a very correct moving mare in the walk. We've given her an 8.0 for the walk. For the canter, we thought it was well balanced. It had a good jump. It was uphill. But we'd like to see the canter just a little bit more soft and relaxed over the back. Today we've given a 9.0 for the canter. And in the submission, we thought that you rode the turn on the haunches so very well. You retained the bend and the flexion throughout. It was clear in the rhythm, and it was really well ridden. The contact became a little bit strong in the counter-canter, and we thought in the simple changes, the transitions could be a little bit more direct and also with a softer contact. And sometimes in the contact, the mouth came fractionally open. So for the submission today, we've given an 8.3. We still love her. She's a fantastic mare with such a big future. For the perspective, we've given a 9.2. Congratulations.
Some really super scores there for Eva Muller on Espe. 8.9 for the trot, 8 for the walk, 9 for the canter, 8.3 submission, 9.2 for perspective.
3 perspective, 9.2. The final result, 8.68.
8.68 into third for Eva Muller and Espe.
For Espe. You came to 8.732 and rank number 2. Small difference. Then we owe you the points for most bends Roccadera for trot 8.3, walk 8.0 and canter 8.0, submission 7.8 and perspective 8.2. And so the final result is 8.06 points and rank number 5. For most
so some scores for the horse before: 8.3 for the trot, 8 for the walk, 8 for the canter, 7.8 for the submission, 8.2 for perspective.
Schneider representing das Verband der Züchter des Oldenburger Pferdes.
So next into the arena we have Dorothy Schneider riding Dante's Hit OLD, the beautiful 5-year-old gelding by Dante Valentino Old out of a Sandro Hit mare. They are representing Germany. They were 9th in the qualifying round, gaining a 9 for the trot, an 8.8 for the walk, a 9 for the canter, 8.5 for submission, and an 8.8 for perspective. Unfortunately, my screen has frozen in front of me, so I'm unable to give commentary at the moment, but as soon as it comes back, I will be back. So I've regained my picture. I'm so sorry for that problem. So here we have Dorothy Schneider. She is riding Dante's Hit OLD by Dante Veltino. Not a direct transition there into the walk for the simple change. Showing a nice balanced canter. Lovely stretch on a long rein, really swinging through the back, taking that stretch nice and long and out in the contact. Beautiful loose elastic trot. So into their final halt, Dorothy Schneider riding Dante Hits Old and Oldenburg Gelding by Dante Veltino out of a Sandro Hit mare.
Dorothy Schneider.
Let's hear from the judge.
A horse with a huge, massive walk, we thought today. Really the highlight of his work. We can start on the walk. It's because you're walking now, we can have another look, but really has a great ability to step through under the body and cover the ground, and this horse actually walks right through the whole body. Very, very happy in the walk, very willing, goes into the contact. What we would like to see is just a little bit more use of the softness in the joints, in the walk, in the leg joints. Every now and again you just see the legs a little bit straight walking through, but really a lovely walk. Today for the walk we've given a 9.0. For the trot, we thought in general he could engage a bit more and step through, carry the weight behind, step through under the body. And we'd like to see him a bit softer over the back in the trot. We often thought that there was a little bit of stiffness there. Look at the walk up on the screen, it's very good, isn't it? But a very active and forward and correct trot. Apart from that, it's an 8.0. And today we thought he had a really good canter. It was well balanced. It's a naturally uphill canter and quite soft-footed canter. We thought that in general he could have just a bit more self-carriage in the canter, but we liked it very much. Gave an 8.9. For the submission, today we saw quite a bit of nose tilting to the right when he's on the left rein, and also when he's on the straight line he tends to be flexed a slight bit to the right. So we'd like to see him a bit more suppled over the back in the bending. But he's a very willing horse, a very obedient horse to the aid. He did very nice simple changes from both reins, and at the finish he stretched very nicely in the trot. So, and he opened the back there, and he was very soft and gentle through the back. So that was well done. For the submission today, we've given an 8.5, and for the perspective, an 8.8. Thank you.
So a wonderful score of 8.64 points, putting Dorothy Schneider into fourth place an 8 for the trot, a 9 for the walk, an 8.9 for canter, 8.5 submission, and 8.8 for perspective. So you can see they're into fourth place with 8.64% for Dante Hits OLD.
Dankzij die punten 8,64. En u, dames en heren, what did you do in spectator judging? Oh, you came also to rank number 4. 8.297 were the points you gave to Dorothee Schneider. Dantes Hit. Für das Verband der Züchter des Oldenburger Pferdes. And there we welcome the number 7 in this Longines final for 5-year-old horses, Queen Park's Wendy.
So next into the arena
Queen
is
Park's
Andreas Helgstrand
the mare by
riding
Sejuan
Queen Park's
Soprano.
Wendy, a mare by
So
Sejuan, second out
Longines
of a blue horse Soprano mare.
Andreas
The other
Helgstrand
day in the qualifier they were sixth with
representing the Danish
9.14, an 8.9 for the
Queen
trot, a
Park's
9.5 for the walk,
Wendy.
9.4 for the canter, 8.7 for submission, and 9.2 for the perspective. Helgstrand is obviously one of the most famous faces in dressage, owning a huge stables, and we've seen many Helgstrand dressage horses competing here this weekend. But down the centre line, Andreas Helgstrand and Queen Park's Wendy. Lovely, loose, athletic mare. Very naturally uphill. Showing good engagement of the hind leg. She has a lovely frame. And super harmony between the horse and rider. Lovely steps in the medium trot. Oh, slight loss of balance in the transition back. Oh, stuck in the turn on the haunches behind, unfortunately. So just losing a little bit of activity. But I think that was probably caused because of the loss of balance in the trot just before they walked. That certainly didn't help. Beautiful suppleness on that 10-meter circle. And then again in the change of rein. Nice and supple to the right as well. I think the left one was slightly better than the right. Just a little bit quick in the trot coming out of the 10-meter circle. Stunning extended trot. Really covering the ground there. Showing a good clear transition back. And beautiful walk transition. Really super relaxed in the walk, showing plenty of ground cover. Could maybe see a little bit more freedom in the shoulder, but certainly swinging through her back, and beautiful transition into canter as well. The walk rhythm wasn't affected at all in anticipation for the canter. The canter is so uphill. showing fantastic ground cover in the medium strides. Lovely balance in the counter-canter. Really relaxed as she blows her nose. Beautiful direct transition into walk. One of the best that we've seen yet today in this 5-year-old final. Andreas is really riding for every single mark. Back into the counter-canter. Horse has good jump in the canter. Could maybe show a bit more engagement from behind there. Lovely uphill tendency. Oh, just went slightly onto the shoulder there in that walk transition. It was lovely and direct into walk, but she just stumbled onto her shoulder slightly. Lovely and loose in the trot for the stretch. Could have maybe stretched down and out a little bit more. Oh, a slight loss of balance there in the trot. And down the final centre line, Andreas Helgestrand riding Queen's Park Wendy. Queen Park's Wendy, a 5-year-old Danish warm blood by Sichuan out of Blue Horse Soprano. A beautiful test there. Very popular with the crowd. This mare is just so relaxed in the arena, taking it all in her stride. A real star of the future. Let's hear what the judge has to say.
The spectators score high enough after all that clapping, and yes, we agree. Fantastic ride, really well presented throughout, and the horse working very well in all the transitions. An obedient, just a great horse, full of energy. And unbelievably balanced for a 5-year-old mare that's that tall and so well developed. She's extremely impressive. So for the trot today, we thought it was forward, it was active, it was balanced, and it had quite good suspension. The medium trot was a super powerful medium trot, but the second one unfortunately hurried a little bit, so we've given today a 9.0 in the trot. For the walk, we thought it was clear, relaxed, active, and showed some overtrack with a good freedom of the shoulder. For the walk, we've given a 9.0. For the canter, it's amazing. It's so uphill, and not only that, the amazing thing was that because it's so uphill, and then the transitions all the way through showed unbelievable ease. It was done in a second. She can sit back and come back from a medium canter to a collected canter, and it's just very direct and very. She gives you the impression of so much ease, and I'm sure it's not all that easy, but it just looks beautiful. So well done there. And for the canter today, we think she has everything. We've given her a 10. For the submission, we thought that she remained in a good frame throughout. The contact is very secure, very solid. Never once did we discuss any negatives there, so there was a good connection always between the rider and the horse. She was stuck behind in the turn on the haunches. But apart from that, a great effort, 9.5 for the submission mark. And what else can we say? Fantastic horse, 9.6 for the perspective.
Wow. Incredible scores for Andreas, 9.42 and well into the lead, a 9 for the trot, a 9 for the walk, a 10 for the canter, 9.5 for submission, 9.6 for perspective. What would it have been if she didn't stick in that turn on the haunches? I think we could have seen another 10 on that scoreboard, but into the lead with 9.42 points. That is definitely the one to beat so far.
Now, spectator judging,
wow.
What did you do?
What a test.
Also, you put them on the first place. This Queen Park's Wendy and Andreas Hoogstand.
Definitely. Queen Park's Wendy is a mare to watch out for in the future.
Jessica Michel Bouton.
So last into the arena, the French rider Jessica Michel Bouton riding Don Vito de Hus, a stallion by Don Juan de Hus out of a Donero mare. This is the last horse before the break. So we are nearly halfway through this 5-year-old Longines World Championship for young horses. What a first half it's been, so exciting. Don Juan de Hus was an incredible young horse and participated in lots of young horse competitions, scoring 10 for his trot, 9.8 for his canter in the final test. So let's see what the stallion Don Vito de Hus by Jessica Michel Bouton can perform today. Starting their test nicely. A nice loose trot, showing lots of athleticism. Maybe take a little bit more weight behind and just improve the engagement of the hindquarters. Not a massive difference shown in the medium. Maybe she's saving it for the extension coming up soon. Good turn on the haunches, keeping the activity. It was a little on the large side, but I think large is better than sticking. Good suppleness in the circle. Again, a horse that really swings through the back. It's lost a bit of balance there, kicking the boards. Let's see if this extended trot can be better than the first. Yeah, again, slightly modest, I would say. Maybe just a little bit hurried rather than really lengthening the stride and taking the weight behind. Lovely and relaxed in the walk, showing a clear rhythm. Good over track. Maybe have more freedom through the shoulder in the extended walk. They were 10th in the qualifier. A little pat of reassurance there as they head into their medium canter. again, quite modest. Can't really see a big difference there at all, which is a pity. Good balance in the canter. Could maybe show a bit more uphill tendency. Just trotting into the simple change. Like to see a direct transition like we did with Queen Park's Wendy, the last horse. Needs to be a direct transition. Ah, that's better. More of a difference that time. Good balance in the counter. See if this transition can be better. Yeah, much better that way. Still fell onto the shoulder slightly, but it was a more direct transition. Lovely swing through the body and the trot. A pat there from Jessica as they come down the final center line. And into the halt is Jessica Michelle Botton for France, riding the lovely stallion Don Vito de Hus by Don Juan de Hus out of a De Niro mare. The French fans shouting and cheering wildly. Such a relaxed horse. Let's see what Maria has to say about this one.
De Niro, and this goes down.
Good afternoon. A very correct and quite elastic trot. The rhythm remained correct throughout. What we would have loved to have seen was for you to take a little bit more risk in the medium trot and allow the horse more forward. And then, of course, as well, we could have appreciated more the transitions on either side of the medium trot. We thought in the beginning that the pole was a little bit high. The whole crest and the head and neck was held a little bit high, so we would have liked to have seen a bit more swinging and elasticity over the back. Today, for the trot, we've given an 8.0. For the walk, we thought it tended to hurry a little bit and we'd like some more overtrack in the walk, but the rhythm again remained correct. We've given the walk a 7.8. For the canter, again, the same as the trot, we thought the medium was shown only in a small manner. We'd like to see more ground cover, longer strides, and also the transitions to be more direct and clear on either side. But in saying that, the canter is correct and it's naturally an uphill canter. We've given the canter an 8.2. For the submission today, we thought the transitions in general were a little bit hurried in the simple changes, a little bit abrupt, and we thought the horse could be more supple over the back, particularly on the right rein. So for the submission, an 8.0. But a very willing and harmonious horse, a genuine horse. Really, it comes down to seeing the scope within the paces that we'd like to see the expansion and the collection more clearly. For the perspective, we've given an 8.3. Thank you.
Some good marks there for Jessica Michelle Botton. 8.06 points, ranked 7th at the moment, an 8 for the trot, a 7.8 for the walk, 8.2 for canter, 8 for the submission, 8.3 for the perspective. That puts her into 7th place at the halfway stages of the Longines FEI WBFSH Dressage World Breeding Championships for young horses. This is the final for the 5-year-olds, and we are halfway through. Here is the list so far. Andreas Helgestrand out in the lead with Queen Park's Wendy, 9.42. Severo Eduardo Lopez on Springbank, the second VH, 9.18. Nicole Vego and Quiana, 8.8. Eva Muller fourth at Espe, 8.68. Dorothy Schneider Dante hit old OLD, 8.64. Renee on Just Wimproff, 8.46. Jill DeRidder and Jessica Michelle Botton in equal 7th with 8.06.
The Spanish rider Severo Eduardo Lopez at Springbank 2.
We're going to have a little break now, but join us again in around 15 minutes for the next rider.
Nicole Vego aus Deutschland. Quiana für das Rheinische Pferdestammbuch. The score. .80. Eva Muller, Espe on the 4th place, 8.68 the score. And the score for Dorothee Schneider, Dantes Hit, Oldenburger Verband, 8.64 on place number 5 at this moment. Well, 20 minutes past 6 o'clock, we'll enter the next combination here in the arena. It is Longines final for 5-year-old horses. dames en heren, mogen we u weer uitnodigen om hier naar het stadion te komen. Over iets minder dan 8 minuten, dan komt hier de eerste deelnemer weer binnenrijden. Please come over to the stadium within 8 minutes. The next competitor will enter the main stadium. Longines final for 5-year-old horses continues with the second group, 7 riders. And in the lead, Queen Parts, Randy Andreas Helgstrand, beautiful score, 9.42. Representing the Danish Warmblood Society. Zoekt u uw plaats weer op, dames en heren. Over een enkel ogenblik komt de eerste volgende combinatie hier binnengereden. Please take your seats. We're about to start with part 2 of the Longines final for 5-year-old horses.
Welcome back to the 5-year-old final of the Longines FEI WBFSH World Breeding Dressage Championships for young
Daar
horses.
ziet u de eerstvolgende combinatie binnenkomen.
Next into the arena we have Marieke van der Putten representing the Netherlands. She is riding the KWPN stallion Jameson RS2, who is Blue Horse Zach out of a Negro mare.
Negro. Representing KWPN. Please concentration for Jameson RS2.
In the qualifier, this partnership got a 9.7 for the trot, a 7.5 for the walk, a 9.8 for the canter, 8.4 for submission, and a 9.2 for the perspective, resulting in 8.9 and 7th place. Let's see how they get along today. Top spot at the moment is Queen Park's Wendy with Andreas Helgstrand on a score of 9.42. They are the ones to beat. So into the arena is Marieke van der Putten riding Jameson RS2. A huge stallion, impressively striking. A very elastic trot. Very impressive medium trot. Maybe see a little bit more power coming from behind there. Incredibly uphill though in the medium and showing good transitions into and out of the medium trot. Good activity in the turn on the haunches. Maybe be a bit more supple in those circles. You could just see a little bit of tilting there. Just a bit of tension creeping in towards that corner. Super extended trot. Showing so much elevation, maintaining the uphill tendency. be more relaxed in the walk. Hasn't got the biggest walk that we've seen in this class. Taking the contact nicely, just a little bit hurried. Could have a lot more freedom through the shoulder. Anticipating the canter transition slightly. The walk's losing its regularity. Oh, what a pity. That's meant to be a direct transition into canter. Just not quite off of her aids. Obviously that will affect the submission mark later. Wow, that's a huge canter. Not a lot of difference shown though. That's meant to be medium canter down that long side. I think that was quite modest. But wow, that is seriously uphill. Showing good balance in the counter canter. Hopefully she can get these simple changes better. Just losing the straightness there down that long side in the counter canter. Obviously that affected the balance as well and the transition to the simple change. She definitely went for it more there, just didn't have the best transition into the extended canter, but was certainly covering the ground. Just got a bit tight over his back in the transition into the extended. Slightly losing the balance. That's better. Better transition that time. Not a very clear walk rhythm, but really good transitions. Slightly early to the trot. Could maybe stretch a little bit more in the trot. Just take the contact down more. Really elastic trot. Just needs to keep the horse on the vertical just around the corner onto the centre line. He just crept behind, showing a bit of tension, but a lovely test there from Marieke van der Putten, and she is riding Jameson RS2, who's by Blue Horse Zach out of the Negro mare.
RS2.
Let's see what the judge has to say about that.
Stallion by Blue Horse Zach Negro and Greg C. Representing KWPN, Koninklijk Wangroet Paardenstamboek Nederland, deze Jameson RS2.
Well, a very expressive young horse, upstanding. You can't help but looking at him and thinking how beautiful he is. He's really an outstanding specimen and moves in a really exciting way with 3 good paces. The trot today was very expressive, really active, and he showed a good freedom of shoulder. What we thought really was his highlight was the way he could stay in the medium trot, so well balanced with just such freedom. We can see it's on the screen right now, it was. It's just a natural medium trot as well. It's not a force in it at all. It's just the way he goes. It was very good. Today for the, we can't deny there's a little bit of tension with him. throughout the test, and so with that incorporated, we've given him a 9.4 today in the trot. And today with the walk, he was quite tense. There was very minimal overtrack in the walk throughout, and because of the tension, there was some tightness in his shoulder, so we know he can walk much, much better, and he's able to do that, but if he could relax more, he can walk through his body, and then we can give him much higher marks. Today we've given him a 7.5 for the walk. For the canter, we thought it was a fabulous uphill canter, showing a really clear jump, and again, a very natural pace, and he's just super uphill in it. We were very impressed. However, the canter often was quite crooked, again with a bit of tension, but it still did affect some of the canter, so we've given a 9.6 in the canter. And in the submission, the contact became a bit strong. We thought we'd like to see him more supple, particularly on the left rein, and when he's on the right rein, we saw some tilting, some nose tilting. There was a bit of resistance into the canter when he first started off. So really, we'd like to see him able to stretch and open the frame and relax and swing through the body a bit more. But so for the submission, we've given an 8.2, but we really love him, and we know he's just going to be a fabulous horse for the future, and 9.5 for the perspective.
Some really marks there for the gorgeous horse Jameson RS2 is by Blue Horse Zach out of a Negro mare. For Marieke van der Putten, 9.4 for the trot, 7.5 for the walk, 9.6 for the canter, 8.2 submission, and a 9.5 for perspective. Some really super marks there for them. A total mark of 8.84 and into third place.
Jameson RS2. Well, and then we show you the result from spectator judging. You place them on the second place, 8.970.
Into the arena next, we have Stephanie Wolf for Germany. She is riding 4 gold OLD, a 5-year-old stallion, Oldenburg by Franziskus 1-5, out of a Blue Horse Zach mare.
4 gold and Stephanie Wolf.
On the qualifier, they were 8th with a total of 8.86 points, a 9.3 for the trot, an 8.5 for the walk, a 9 for the canter, an 8.5 for submission, and a 9 for perspective. So the bell has rung. And about to enter the arena, we have Stephanie Wolf, 4 gold OLD for Germany. Again, a nice elastic horse, showing good self-carriage and a good uphill frame. Maybe see a little bit more suppleness through those corners. A nice clear difference in the medium trot. Just lost the fluency in the connection at some points. Good active turn on the haunches. This horse has a really nice balance and a good clear trot rhythm. And let's see if she can go for it a little bit more in this extended trot. Yeah, just losing the balance slightly in there. Could have potentially more engagement from behind to come into a steadier contact, especially in those medium and extended trots. Lovely relaxed walk though. Again, a clear rhythm. Could stretch down more. You can see he's stretching, but just coming a little bit behind the vertical in the extended walk. Slightly anticipating the canter. Fairly modest medium canter down the long side. It's got a good rhythm in the canter. Slightly progressive transition into the simple change. Nice and direct back into the canter after the walk, but just trotted a few strides. A bit more difference in that extended canter, but not enough for me, I'm afraid. Maybe I'm being fussy, but I think she could have gone for that a little bit more. Was losing balance in the counter slightly. Slightly better transition that time. Still not totally direct, but certainly better than the first one. Managed to carry more weight behind. Unfortunately, some miscommunication in that one, and that will be affecting the submission marks. Lovely stretch in the trot. You could see the horse swinging through its body more in the stretchy trot, which is just what you want to see. I'd like to see maybe more of that in the general trot as well. But coming down the centre line and into their final salute, Stephanie Wolf for Germany, riding the Oldenburg Stallion for gold. By Franziskus 15 out of a blue horse Zach
Stephanie Wolf for gold from Franziskus blue horse Zach.
Let's see what the judges have to say about that one.
Well, a beautiful, elegant stallion in front of us. So soft and harmonious in the ride, showing straight away from the beginning a very calm attitude, and he was more than happy to be in here with his work, and he was going to stay with you. mentally, and so trainable, and just a soft, lovely going horse. We thought in the trot that it was very light-footed, of course soft and elastic, and it had the ability to cover the ground. What we would love to have seen was for you to take some more risk in the medium and ask for more medium so that he engages in carrying behind. We noticed that he became stronger in the contact in the medium. Overall in the trot for an even higher mark, we thought he could easily have more suspension within that beautiful trot he has. Today we've given a 9.0 for the trot. For the walk, we thought it was a very big walk. It was relaxed, it had a very good overtrack. But what we'd like to see is it swing more over the back and be more through the whole body. He has a very big walk, and we just want to see him more supple and flexible over the back in this. It's an 8.8 today. For the canter, we thought we'd like it more uphill, but it's a very correct canter, very balanced. The medium canter was shown, but the transitions we'd like you to take more clearly and more directly for us. So we've given an 8.8 for the canter. In the submission, we thought, whereas he's a very harmonious horse and very good to answer to you, we want him quicker in the response. He's a little bit slow to the aid sometimes, and we thought that he could come through quicker with the hind legs. But he's very willing, and one thing that you did very well was the turn on the haunches. The whole way through it was very good. So just to get him a bit more up in front of the aid, we'd love you to ask a bit more from him. For the submission, we've given you an 8.5, and the perspective, he's a beautiful stallion, a 9.0.
So some great scores there for Stephanie Wolf, and 4 gold OLD, a 9 for the trot, an 8.8 for the walk, an 8.8 for the canter, an 8.5 for submission, and a 9 for perspective. 8.82 points to go into 4th place.
Rank number 4.
Still out in the lead at the moment is Queen Park's Wendy and Andreas Helgestrand with 9.42.
You placed him.
They could be under threat though by the next combination.
On rank number 7, 8.413 points. Spectator judging for Stephanie Wolf and for gold.
This is where the competition is going to really heat up here at the Longines FEI WBFSH Dressage World Breeding Championships for young horses. This is the 5-year-old finals, and in we have Jessica Lynn Thomas representing Sweden with Secret. The Bay 5-year-old stallion by Sichuan 2 out of a St. Moritz mare. The partnership in the qualifying round won with 9.54 points. They scored a 9.9 for trot, a 9.5 for the walk, 9.7 for the canter, an 8.8 for submission, and a 9.8 for perspective. So they are going to be real threats for Andreas, who is at the top spot at the moment with 9.42. So the bell has gone. And we welcome into the arena Jessica Lynn Thomas riding Secret. What a shame about that first halt. I think if she'd have waited 2 more seconds, he would have actually squared up. What a trot. I think he was born with springs in his hooves. He is so soft. You can see him using his whole body in the trot, really swinging. So naturally active, and it's just built uphill. Beautiful rhythm in the medium trot. Really lengthening the frame, lengthening the stride. I think, or just a little bit wide on the turn on the haunches. So soft and supple around the circles. This must be so much fun to ride. Such a harmonious picture. Awesome rider, really working as one. Beautiful extension. This is super, super, super picky, but could maybe just have had a little bit more push from behind in that last extended trot. But that's being super picky. Wow. Enormous ground cover in the walk. He's just so relaxed. Super freedom in the shoulder, really using his whole body in the walk. Marching forward. So attentive to his rider. Good transitions into and back from the medium canter. Huge uphill stride. Beautiful moment of suspension. Oh, just a momentary loss of balance there. Lovely. Super transitions. Yeah. She definitely went for that extended canter. Again, one little step of loss of balance there at the end as she brought him back. I mean, I'm literally talking split second there. Beautifully balanced counter canter. And again, super, super transitions in the simple change. Oh, that one could have been a little bit more fluent. He just swings through his whole body in beautiful self-carriage. What an absolute pleasure to watch. The audience are clapping before she's even finished. Massive pats there for the beautiful Secret, ridden by Jessica Lynn Thomas for Sweden. What a test. People in the crowd standing on their feet. People crying and hugging. What a brilliant moment for dressage. Such a joy to watch. That really was perfect harmony. He's such a dude, isn't he? He knows how handsome he is. His attitude reminds me a lot of Allegro, actually. He's just a cool cucumber, absorbing the atmosphere and absolutely loving it. I wonder what the judges have to say about that one. Will we have a 10? Let's find out.
Well, that took a long time to die down for us to start talking, so I think the crowd really loved your performance, so very well done today. We loved it too. Fabulous horse. I don't know what more we can say. Always fluent, always soft. So much to appreciate and to enjoy. It's certainly a pleasure to judge a horse of this high quality. For his trot, we thought it was powerful. The first word we spoke between the judges was, "Isn't this a powerful trot?" And on top of it, it's elastic and it's soft, and it has a lovely gentleness to it as well. So when you can match power and relaxation and softness together, then you have to be on a winning streak. What we'd love to see in the trot is that you even show more medium trot and really get him to overtrack in that. But fabulous trot, 9.4 we gave today. For the walk, we thought it was clear, has a huge overtrack. We'd like a little bit more freedom of the shoulder, and 9.0. I'm giving you the reasons. For the canter, we went, wow. You know, nobody can say it isn't a wonderful canter, fantastic. So for the canter, I'm not saying any more, it's a 10. In the submission, there were minor things that we considered. He was a little slow off the leg coming into the holds. He grounded a little bit in the turn on the haunches. The first transition in the simple change was a bit downhill, but he always had a great secure contact. And he's so easygoing. The harmony was good. He always responds well to you. We've given him a 9.8 in submission. And I guess I don't have to tell you the last mark, it's a 10.
2 10s there for Jessica Lynn Thomas and Secret. Straight into first place with 9.64, a 9.4 for the trot, a 9 for the walk, which received boos from the crowd, a 10 for the canter, a 9.8 for the submission, and another 10 for perspective. So well deserved. I have a feeling that the spectator judging might be a little bit higher than that, but 2 10s on the leaderboard there. Into the lead, 9.64, pushing Andreas into second.
Yes, correct. 9.244 and rank number 1. Secret, the approved stallion in the lead.
Super horse for the future. Secret is by
But now,
Sichuan
again,
out of a
concentration,
St. Lawrence
ladies and gentlemen,
mare.
the number 12.
So next into the arena is Andreas Helgestrand again on his second ride, Jovian. He is a dark bay stallion, a KWPM by Apache out of a Tango mare.
The Netherlands.
They were 4th in the qualifier with a 10 for the trot, a 7.5 for the walk, a 9.8 for the canter, a 9.5 for submission, and a 9.5 for perspective. So again, it could be another one to take a top spot. This is going to be really, really close at the top. It is quite literally all to play for. In 2017, this horse won the Dutch Championship of the 3-year-old riding horses. Into the arena, Andreas Helgestrand riding Jovian, the Apache Stallion. Slightly wonky into the first halt there. This trot really is incredibly soft, naturally uphill. So much elasticity. Showing a lovely difference in the medium trot there. Great transitions into and out of the medium strides. Keeping the activity around a very small turn on the haunches. He did well to maintain the activity the whole way through that. Lovely suppleness in the circle. I would say he is probably more supple to the left than he is the right. Just slightly bent to the outside at times on this rein. Yeah, wonderful difference in the extended trot there. Really, really super strides. And into the walk, showing great engagement. Into a lovely relaxed walk. Showing good over track. Could be, yeah, it started off nice and relaxed, just got a little bit of tension through the body, just lost its swing towards the end. Good transition into canter. A little reminder there, I think, from Andreas. It started well, then he started backing off of him a little bit halfway through. Nice uphill tendency in the canter. Super balance in the counter-canter, just slightly creeping behind the vertical at times. Nice simple change. Wonderful extended counter. Andreas really riding this test and making sure he rides all of the transitions really clearly. He's lost a tiny bit of the straightness in the counter-counter, but maintaining the good balance. Lovely transition. That simple change was much better than the first. First one was just slightly hesitant into the walk in comparison to the second one anyway. Lovely stretch, really taking the contact nicely down and out, staying in front of the vertical, and that's where that suspension comes into that trot. I think this horse is going to have a wonderful passage. You can see the makings of it there. And a lovely final halt. There we have Andreas Helgestrand on Jovian, the KWPN stallion by a patch out of a Tango mare. Wow, this is getting tense.
Jovian representing KWPN, the approved
Yeah, that's what I mean. This horse is going to have a really, really super off-the-floor passage. So much talent for the future. Let's hear from the judges.
De hoogste score tot nu toe op naam van Secret 9.64. The highest score until now 9.64 for Secret. But the word is for this is Schwillissen 9.
I'm not sure if the judge has forgotten that she needs to give a remark on this test. The crowd are waiting very impatiently. It's giving Andreas a perfect opportunity to practice his passage. Hopefully now we'll hear from the judge. Here we go.
Lots to write and lots to think about with this beautiful horse. Really an upstanding specimen, fantastic moving horse. I'm actually not going to give you the scores as I go. I'll make you wait until the end. But we thought with the trot, it had so much spring, so much suspension, and we thought with this huge amount of air time, it still matched front and back. We thought in the medium trot, it was just fabulous. It was balanced, it was always throughout the medium, the collected, through the corners. Everywhere it was in a perfect rhythm, and it was in a perfect tempo all the way, so great riding there, well done. For the walk, we thought that was the weakest pace. It was a little stiff. We'd like to see the back more open and swinging. It still was correct in the rhythm and certainly a correct walk. In the canter, we thought it was very well balanced. It was uphill always. It jumped, and we thought you were so brave riding the medium canters, and the horse just seamlessly goes into the medium and comes back from the medium. So that was fantastic. It really was thrilling to be judging him. For the turn on the haunches in the submission, it was well produced. For the suppleness of the horse, never once did we think he was crooked, never once did we think that he didn't bend on the left rein and the right rein. Really, it was such good riding, and the control of the tempo and the rhythm was great. He was always in self-carriage. So the marks. We'll start with the walk, which is the lowest mark. It's an 8.3. Okay, and all the other marks are a 10.
Incredible.
Wow.
Score 9.66 and
10
in the lead.
for the trot, 8.3 for the walk, 10 for the canter, 10 for submission, and 10 for perspective. Shot into the lead, 9.66. Absolutely unbelievable.
Het KWP met deze Jovian en Andreas Houtland aan de leiding 9.66.
That was Andreas Helgestrand and the wonderful Hatcher Stallion Jovian out of a Tango mare. Absolutely unbelievable. It is so close at the top. We have Jovian on 9.66, Secret on 9.64, and then Queen Park's Wendy on 9.42. So the next rider in, we've seen her already today, is Eva Moller on Valverdere. This is a Bay Stallion, a Westphalian by Vitalis out of an Ampere mare. She today has already won the 4-year-old final. She is already 8th on her other ride, Espe, with 8.68, and was 2nd in the qualifier with 9.26. She scored a 8.9 for the trot, a 10 for the walk, an 8.8 for the canter, 9.3 submission, 9.4 perspective. So in she comes. Here is Eva Moller on the Vitalis Stallion Valverdere. Nice elastic trot. Just at times it's creeping behind the vertical. Could just see that nose an inch or two further out. And for me, maybe a tiny bit hurried, but not there. That medium trot's super. Really covering the ground. Losing a bit of activity in the walk before the turn on the haunches, but maintaining it nicely through the turn on the haunches itself. Lovely transition back into trot. Suppleness in the circle, maintaining the balance and the rhythm of the trot throughout. Another naturally uphill horse. Again, just there, just creeping slightly behind the vertical, just showing a bit of a tight neck. Wonderful steps in the extended trot. Again, showing really clear transitions in and out. So she had a 10 for this walk in the qualifier. What an overtrack. My goodness. I can see why. The freedom through the shoulder, the swing through the body. He's really marching, taking the contact and the stretch down. A really, really beautiful walk. I would say the best that we've seen so far in this 5-year-old final. Super strides in the medium canter. Just losing a little bit of the connection and therefore the balance at times, especially at the end. Good balance in the counter canter. Ooh. Just lost the balance onto the forehand in the transition down into walk. He kind of stumbled and then had a step of trot in there, so that's a real pity. Could have gone for that extension a bit more, I think. Just had his mouth open slightly coming round the corner there in the canter. Again, a really uphill canter. I'd say the frame is slightly better in the canter than in the trot. The camera switched just as she came down into walk, but it looked pretty clean to me. Oh, shame about that transition. Just it's confusing coming straight from a transition that's directly into walk and then having to do a transition into trot straight after. It can be quite confusing for the horses, and you could just see him there thinking that Ava was going to ask for the walk transition again. Just a bit of miscommunication. Super trot coming down the centre line into their final halt. Ava Muller riding the Vitalist Stallion Belvedere out of an Ampere mare.
Beautiful test voor verder Eva Muller für das westfälische Pferdestammbuch Vitalis Ampere and first final.
A really super horse. I'm not sure if it's going to be taking a spot in the top 3, but let's find out what the judges think.
Well, another wonderful horse in front of us. We're really spoiled today. The trot was regular, it was ground covering. We thought the medium was well performed, had good freedom of the shoulder, and certainly showed overtrack. We questioned whether it could have been a little bit hurried but certainly in the correct balance and a good way of going. A 9.0 for the trot. For the walk, we thought it was a good walk, always in a clear rhythm. It showed over track, went into the contact, walked right through the whole body. The contact was always elastic, and it showed good purpose, good forward walk, and the score is a 10. The canter was correct. It was well balanced. We thought, if anything, could be a little bit more uphill and softer over the ground. The score is 9.0. For the submission, we saw quite a few times the tongue out a little bit to the left, and in the circles in the trot, on both of them they were large, but they also had the hindquarters out of the circle. So more suppleness here, more elasticity over the back. The downward transitions were a little bit abrupt coming into the simple change, and some loss of balance at A coming back into the trot. But on the whole, we thought you made a good supporting ride. For the submission, we gave an 8.8, and for the perspective, a 9.3.
Some good scores there for Ava Muller, a 9.22, ranking in the top 4. So she got a 9 for her trot, a 10 as we expected for the walk, another 9 for the canter, 8.8 for submission, and a 9.3 for perspective. Into 4th place, behind her boss, Andreas Helgestrand.
Result for Valverde. As we go to spectator judging, you placed Valverde on the number 3, 9.146.
2 left to
Only 2
go.
competitors to go.
So,
Jovian in the lead, 9.66.
Andreas Helgestrand is guaranteed a place on the podium with Jovian. To be fair, with 4 10s, you would expect him to.
Representing KWPN.
Next into the arena is Emily Scholtens and Johnny B. Good, a 5-year-old gelding, KWPN by Dream Boy NOP, out of a Tietz D mare. The partnership in the qualifying 5-year-old competition. They scored a 9.2 for the trot, a 9.8 for the walk, an 8.8 for the canter, 8.6 for submission, and a 9.5 for perspective, ending in 5th place with 9.18. Into the arena comes Johnny B. Good, ridden by Emily Scholtens, representing the Netherlands. A little bit of tension there at sea. Really super impressive gelding. I mean, he couldn't be any more uphill if he tried. Elastic medium trot, really covering the ground nicely. Could maybe have had a bit more swing over the back. Keeping good activity into the turn and the haunches. That was beautiful. Really nice bend through the body, kept the activity nicely. Could have had maybe a bit more suppleness around that corner. Lovely suppleness on the circle. Just getting a little bit of tension there again at S, finishing the circle. I think a few things are catching his eye around the arena. Beautiful, straight, extended trot. Lots of power. Lots of ground cover. Again, for the higher marks in the trot, I'd like to see a little bit more swing over the back in the trot. There's just a couple of moments of tension where it's just lost. Again, another super walk. Really covering the ground. Lots of freedom through the shoulder, taking a really nice contact, a super rhythm. And not changed at all into that canter transition. Super transition into the medium canter, just lost the balance slightly halfway through. A little bit crooked down that long side into the simple change. It's interesting because you couldn't really see that from the other camera angle, but straight ahead it was very, very obvious how crooked she was. Again, a lovely transition into the extended canter, extending that frame as well. Always remaining at the highest point. Good balance in the counter canter. Can she keep the straightness? That looks better to me. Pretty good transitions. Good transition back to trot. Horse is really letting go in the stretch. Just again a little bit of tension there, just creeping back as Emily picked up the rein. What a really lovely test from Emily Scholtens and Johnny B. Good. The KWPN by Dreamboy NOP. Huge cheers from the home crowd. Such an impressive horse. So much presence in the arena. It's a shame he's not a stallion.
Representing KWPN, Johnny B. Good.
So let's hear from Maria, the judge at C.
A lovely, handsome gelding in front of us this afternoon from Emily, our local girl. Well done. A very nice ride and a very willing horse. He's obedient to the aid and there's much to like about him. For the trot, we thought it was a very soft trot and quite fluent. We also thought that with the hind legs, they could carry a little more weight and also they could push and propel it a little bit more as well. So the medium is even more clearly shown. For the walk, we thought it's a huge walk, a very, very big walk with a good overtrack. He was relaxed in the walk throughout and of high quality. Okay, and but we need to see that he can stretch just a little bit more into the contact. The mark for the trot, sorry, I missed giving it to you, was an 8.8. The walk mark is a 9.5. For the canter, we thought here he was, the word that came to us when we were discussing it was it's a very dynamic canter, and it is. It's quite exciting and quite energetic. But we do want to see it a little bit more balanced, and we thought at times it tended to hurry a little bit and tighten up in the back. For the canter today, we've given an 8.8. For the submission, the turn on the haunches was conducted and produced very well, but the circles, the two trot circles, were really like ovals. You know, they had quite flat sides on them. And so they weren't quite accurate over the tracks there. And also throughout, there was one piece that we discussed with all of the paces, apart from the walk. It was that the carriage of the neck is quite high, and at times the neck became a little bit short. So we've given him for the submission an 8.7. But he is a very willing, a very appealing horse, and always obedient to the aid, so a 9 for the perspective. Dick?
Some good marks there for Emily Schultens and Johnny B.
There we
Good.
go for Johnny B.
An
Good.
8.8 for the trot, 9.5 for the walk, an 8.8 for the canter, 8.7 for submission, and a 9 for the perspective. So that puts her into 6th place with 8.96.
6 points.
So that also means that Jessica Lynn Thomas and Secret are on the podium.
Number 6. You placed them on rank number 7.
The last rider to come
Very close.
is coming in shortly. And it's been a Renate sandwich. She was first in today with her first horse, Just Wimpoff, and she is now coming into the arena with Johnny Depp.
Representative of the KWPN is Johnny Depp.
Johnny
Approved
Depp is a
stallion by
KWPN
Bordeaux,
stallion
Jess
by
Farrell.
Bordeaux out of a Jazz mare, and the combination are representing the
Last competitor,
Netherlands.
ladies and gentlemen. The number 15, Johnny Depp.
In the qualifier, they came third with 8 points, 9.28 points, with a 9.1 for the trot, a 9.7 for the walk, a 9.2 for the canter, an 8.8 for submission, and a 9.6 for perspective. So again, they could be a threat for the top 3 places. At the moment, we have Andreas in the lead with Jovian. We have Jessica Lynn Thomas in 2nd place with Secret, and we have Andreas again with Queen Park's Wendy in 3rd place. Can Renate van Judrit van Valley on Johnny Depp finish in the top 3? We're about to find out. Super elastic trot. Again, built so uphill. really expressive in front. Just lost the balance slightly on that short side. Loads of ground cover in the medium. Just getting a little bit tense in the neck there. You want to see the horse's frame extend as well as the trot, and it just came a little bit above the bit, and they just lost the throughness and the harmony there slightly. Suppleness on the circle. Let's see if she can do one better on this extended trot. Much better balance. Just towards the end there, you could just see him coming back a little bit at her again in the contact, like last time. But the steps remained regular. Again, another huge ground covering walk. Taking the neck out nicely and stretching down. Good freedom in the shoulder. Just again losing a bit of the connection in the walk there. The horse just tipping behind the vertical and then really using his shoulder to get into the canter rather than pushing from behind. Wow, huge medium canter. Really showing a difference there. Pretty nice transition. Just at times losing the fluency in the connection, I feel. That's lovely. Again, nice and open in the frame in the extension. A slight loss of balance there. Again, just coming onto the shoulders slightly in the downward transition. Much better canter transition that time. And nicely into the trot. Swing through the body in the stretch. Crowd are clapping Renee down the final centre line, the final rider in the Longines final for 5-year-olds. And there we have it. Renee van Udrecht van Vallée riding Johnny Depp, the KWPN stallion by Bordeaux out of a jazz mare. Our final combination for the day and our final combination for the World Breeding Championships for young horses in the 5-year-old.
Great crowds. Great
What a
that you stay here
fantastic
for the-
crowd they've
for
been.
also
So
for the
encouraging of
prijsgiving.
all of the riders. I
We gaan voor
can't
de
wait
laatste
to
keer
see
naar de jury. We gaan voor de
and
laatste
hear
keer
what
naar
Maria
Longines
and all of the
FEI.
judges are going to be
Longines.
saying about this one. Is she going to take the space on the podium? Let's find out.
Well, we finished with a beautiful horse, quite an exciting, moving horse. He's very keen, very sharp to the aid, sometimes a little bit too sharp, and he loses a little bit of balance, but his intent is fantastic. He must be a lot of fun to ride, I'm sure. For the trot, we thought he had good hind legs, well engaged all the time, quite elastic, and ground covering. In the medium, we thought he could be a bit softer over the back and trot a bit more through the body. He tended to hurry, but in the collected trot, he's super supple. He's beautifully supple in that, so we appreciated that a lot. For the trot, we've given a 9.0. For the walk, we thought he stretched into the contact, he over-tracked, and he walked through the body. The purpose was good. We gave 9.5. For the canter, we thought it's a really exciting canter. It's very big, and he does, as I was saying before, he's sometimes in your transitions and so forth, the canter's so big coming into them that he loses some balance, and it needs to be a bit stronger, or he needs to become a little bit stronger, so there's more adjustability and more manageability for you in the self-carriage and the canter. So for today, we've given 8.9. The turn on the haunches in the submission we thought was a bit big, but he also stepped to the side. We'd like to see him a little bit more consistent in the contact, and at times he came a bit strong into the hand, and in the simple changes he was a bit abrupt coming from the canter into the walk. So a little bit more again the self-carriage here to improve that. 8.5 for the submission, and for the overall perspective we thought he's a lovely horse with a wonderful future. 9.2.
So there we have it. Renate van Uldert van Villay, 9.02 points to put her
Once
into
again, the points,
6th place
for
with the
Johnny
wonderful
Depp and
stallion
Van
Johnny
Aert van Vliet
Depp
for trot,
by Bordeaux out of a
9.0.
jazz mare.
Walk 9.5, canter
We have
8.9.
a 9 for the
Submission,
trot, a 9.5 for
perspective,
walk,
9.2.
an 8.9
Final
for the
result,
canter, an 8.5 for
9.02.
submission,
In the ranking, number
9.2
6,
for
Johnny
perspective,
Depp, van Aert van Vliet
9.02 to put her into
Dames en heren,
6th
blijft u bij ons
place.
de huldiging van de
So that was the final rider to go in the Longines final for 5-year-olds, and we have a top 3.
Great having you here.
Andreas has absolutely dominated this class on both of his horses. The gold medalist and the winner of the 5-year-old final is Andreas Helgestrand, riding Jovian on 9.66. In second place we have Jessica Lynn Thomas with Secret, 9.64. Unbelievably close together. Again in third place, Andreas Helgestrand again on Queen Park's Wendy, 9.42. Ava Moller in third place with Valverdere, 9.22. Severa Gerardo Lopez on Springbank the second VH, 9.128. Renate again in 6th place with Johnny Depp, we've just seen there, 9.02. Emily Sholton's 7th, Johnny Be Good, 8.96. What a fantastic competition it has been. I feel so honoured that I've had the opportunity to watch this wonderful class with so many top horses. We really, really have a bright future for the sport that is dressage. So many wonderful stallions in there, so many incredible riders. These horses are potentially our Olympic champions of the future. And at just 5 years old, they have got their lives ahead of them. So we're just waiting now for the prize giving of the 5-year-old final for the best dressage world breeding championship for young horses, and the winner of the 5-year-olds are Andreas Helgerstrand riding Jovian. 4 10s for the trot, the canter, the submission and the perspective, with a total score of 9.66. Another 2 10s for Jessica Lynn Thomas with Secret, the wonderful stallion by Szechuan. 9.4 for the trot and 9 for the walk, 10 for the canter, 9.8 for submission, and another 10 for perspective. And then we had Andreas again on Queen Park's Wendy, lovely mare, Danish warm blood, another one by Szechuan. So 2 in the top 3 that are by Szechuan. Competing Danish warm blood, a 9 for the trot, a 9 for the walk, 10 for the canter, 9.5 for submission, and a 9.6 for perspective. So in comes Nicole Vigo and Quiana for Germany. The stunning horse. Note that is not Nicole Vigo.
Number 6, Johnny Depp, representing KWPN, Renate van Uitert.
No. This is Emily Scholtens and Johnny Be Good.
Johnny Be Good, Emily Scholtens hier in de piste. En wij zagen eerst James.
That last rider was Marieke van der Putten and Jameson RS2, who was in 8th place. And here we have Renate van Unter van Ville on Johnny Depp, the last horse that we saw compete here in the 5-year-old championships.
And there
Next
is the
in,
number
we
5,
have Severo Eduardo Lopez coming 5th with Springbank the 2nd VH. A total score of 9.18.
En dan gaan we naar de nummer 4.
In 4th place we have Eva Moller riding Belvedere in 4th place, the wonderful Westphalian stallion by Vitalis. 9.22. Just missed her space on the podium. What a wonderful test and what a beautiful horse. Wait now for the top 3 to come
The
through.
numbers 3, 2, and 1. Ze komen eraan, dames en heren.
And here they come. Andreas Helgerstrand riding Jovian, the new 5-year-old world champions. And Everybody is on their feet. The excitement and the atmosphere in the arena was electric when he finished his test. The crowd absolutely loved this horse. 2 horses in the top 3. He must be so unbelievably proud. A wonderful, wonderful stallion, and our new 5-year-old world champion, Jovian. And there we have Queen Park's Wendy walking past unmounted. Obviously, Andreas was the rider for her also.
The
took an
prizes in
early
the
lead.
Longines final for 5-year-old horses will be presented by Mr. Frank Kemperman, the chairman of the FEI Dressage Committee. And on behalf of Longines, the brand manager for the Netherlands, Judith Menne. And on behalf of the World Breeding Federation for Sport Horses, Mr. Jan Petersen. And the board member of the organizing committee, Mr. Andries van Dalen. And the president of the grand jury, Mr. Adriaan Hamoun. Well, there we go. The bronze medal, the bronze FEI plate, goes to Queen Park's Wendy, representing the Danish Warm Blood Society.
So 3rd place, and the bronze medal goes to Andreas Helgestrand and Queen Park's
And
Wendy
Andreas
with a wonderful
Helgestrand.
score of 9.42.
But he is involved in another way. The breeder, Mr. Koert Gosmar, and the owner Chateau de Fontaine and Helgestrand Dressage. May we invite Frank Kemperman to hand over the bronze plate. The chairman of the FEI Dressage Committee, Mr. Kemperman. De eigenaresse van deze Queen Park's Wendy wordt hier gefeliciteerd door de heer Kemperman. It's the owner of the horse Queen Park's Wendy by Szechuan.
And
Ik ga het
now
applaus vragen
in the
voor de
silver
nummer
medal
2,
position,
dames en heren.
we have
Representing
the wonderful
Dressage for Fiat
Jessica
Secret.
Lynn Thomas representing Sweden on the wonderful stallion by Szechuan Secret.
And Jessica Lynn Thomas.
An unbelievable test. A really,
De volgende
really
van het
exciting
paard is,
stallion.
Robert Vogler.
So chilled in the prize
En de
giving.
eigenaresse, Marie Christine Vichtingaar. En paard gereden door Jessica Lynn Thomas. Congratulated by Mr. Kemperman, the chairman of the Dressage Committee. En dan the world champion.
And now the world champion.
The world champion of
The
young
world
horses,
champion
and winner of
is
the gold
Andreas
plate
Helgestrand,
is Jovian
riding
and Andreas
Jovian,
Helgestrand,
representing
KWPN.
Denmark. The wonderful Apache son, Jovian, with a whopping 4 10s, with a final score of 9.66.
The breeder, Mr. Temples.
Incredible. What a day of dressage we have had. Make sure that you join us tomorrow. We have got the final for the 6-year-old and the final for the 7-year-old tomorrow, as well as the Grand Prix Freestyle for the 3-star. So make sure you tune in We go live at 9:30 Central European time, so make sure you tune in for some more unmissable dressage. From me, Natasha Baker, good night.
Congratulations for Andreas Helgstrand. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please all rise for the national anthem of the Netherlands, KWBN, the gold medal winner.
Hello?
Jovian, KWPN. And now, the congratulations by the Longines brand manager for the Netherlands, Judith Mennen. She hands over a beautiful prize, a Longines watch for the winner, Andreas Helgstrand. That's the moment also the pictures were taken. And also the congratulations by Judith Mennen for Secret and Jessica Lynn Thomas, the number 2. Ja, en daar wordt even overlegd wat we doen met Queen Park's Wendy in de ereronde, in de Lap of Honor. We want to see Queen Park's Wendy, yes, of course. We gaan to Mr. Jan Pedersen, the president of the World Breeding Federation for Sport Horses. Mr. Andries van Dalen, board member of the organizing committee and the president of the grand jury, Adriaan Hamoen. They will congratulate the winners and hand over the certificates to the breeders. May we invite you? There we are, the president of the World Breeding Federation for Sport Horses, Mr. Jan Pedersen. Hands over the certificate. Ja, nou is die Jovian, die wordt wat ongeduldig. Keep it safe. The stable plates should be handed over by Mr. Andries van Dalen, but Ja, en dat betekent dat we nu toch afscheid nemen van Queen Park's Wendy. Ja, anders dan zou Andreas Helkstand er zelf op gezeten hebben. Maar die is al betrokken in de prijsuitreiking. We gaan eerst naar de certificaten die uit worden gereikt hier voor Secret, representing das Deutsche Sportpferd. Kijk, en die gelukwensen worden hier overgebracht door de heer Jan Petersen, Annelies van Dalen en namens de jury door de heer Adriaan Hamoen. Zo, de dames en heren van het protocol treden terug. Hartelijk dank. Once again, to Longines, thank you for this beautiful sport here in this Longines final for the 5-year-old horses. And now we go to the lap of honor. Daar komen ze voorop. The new world champion, European, representing KWPN en Andreas Helkstand. The new world champion, Julian. En ook nog een keer met z'n allen voor de nummer 2, Secret. Special for you. The world champion 5-year-old horses representing KWPN, Julian Andreas Helkstand. What a sport, this Longines final. Dank u, u was een geweldig publiek. Dank u voor uw aanwezigheid, dank voor uw enthousiasme. Een hele fijne avond, kom wel thuis en wij zien u graag morgen weer. Morgen weer een dag vol met mooie sport. Thank you, we're a great crowd. Come home safe and we hope to meet you tomorrow again on the World Championships for young horses.